Hello friends, welcome to my channel. In today's session, I'm going to cover what is Spring and what is Spring Boot. So what is the difference between these two terms? And also I'm going to give one quick example like to understand better on these two. And so please watch till the end of this video. So without wasting time, let's get started. So first we need to understand what is Spring and Spring Boot means. Spring is an open source lightweight framework that allows Java Enterprise Edition developers to build simple and reliable and scalable enterprise application. This framework mainly focuses on providing various ways to implement you manage your business objects. It made the development of web application much easier compared to classic Java frameworks. An application programming interface such as Java Database Connectivity (JDBC) and Java Server Page, Java Servlet. So this framework uses various new techniques such as aspect-oriented programming, plain old Java object, and dependency injection to develop enterprise application. So the Spring framework can be considered as a collection of sub-frameworks, also called as layers, such as Spring AOP, Spring Object Relational Mapping, Spring Web Flow, and Spring Web MVC. So you can use any of these modules separately while constructing a web application. The modules may also be grouped together to provide better functionality to a web application. And there is a main feature of the Spring framework is dependency injection or universal control, with the help of Spring framework, we can develop a loosely coupled application. It is better to use if application type or characteristics clearly defined. So, and let's see what is the Spring Boot is, right? Spring Boot is it is built on top of Spring framework. Okay. So it provides all the features of Spring and it's lesser to use the Spring. So Spring Boot is a microservice framework and makes a production ready application in very less time. In Spring Boot, everything is auto configured. We just need to use proper configuration for utilizing a particular functionality. Spring Boot is very useful if you want to develop a REST API. Spring Boot is a model of Spring, it's a model of Spring framework. So it allows us to build a standalone application with a minimal or zero configuration. It is a better to use if you want to develop a simple uh, Spring-based application or REST API. So friends, so far you understood the theoretical definition of it, and also you got some few points where and all we use for Spring and what advantage we have in Spring and Spring Boot, right? So this is like advanced version of Spring. So it'll handle some auto configuration and also it supports to have a inbuilt memory and the embedded web server so that help us to create production ready application. So it saves a lot of time in terms of doing configuration and do the what dependency like we don't need to have all the dependency manually. Instead, you just keep the add the starter dependency. That will take care all the model level dependencies in your project, right? So let's see what is the difference between these two. Let's pick which is not covered. So the framework we covered 4.1 and say in point 2 also we covered the difference in point 3. Yeah, that's the main primary feature of Spring Framework is the dependency injection, as I mentioned. And the Spring Boot, we have auto configuration. In Spring, we need to have all the configuration manually, but instead in Spring Boot, we there is a flexibility we can have the Spring Boot do the configuration itself. I mean, do automatically all the configuration, and so both are loosely coupled. And so here you need to do a lot of codings and then get the production ready application. But whereas it is everything is already added as a features in Spring Boot. So it's make you to create a production standalone application in lesser time, right? And also the configuration be lesser. And here too, the boilerplate coding is more compared to the Spring Boot, right? So so that saves a lot of time, right? So and also this, if you once you've done with your changes, you want to run and test the application, you know, to have explicitly web server when you use a Spring. But in Spring Boot, there's a features like they are internally inbuilt with Tomcat server as a default, but you can have a choice to change to Jetty or Tomcat. That is based on your requirement. You can add it in your dependency uh, file. And the in-memory DB that, as we know, right, in-memory basically it creates the file database. Um, so this not supported in the Spring framework, but in Spring Boot we have this. Uh, this offers several plugins for working with the embedded and in memory DB, so such as H2. And finally, the updating the dependency in the format XML. We used to have all our project related dependency in the Maven, but when we decided to go develop for web application, we need to have some set of dependency in our Maven. Whereas in Spring Boot, everything is introduced as, I mean, they have introduced some bundles like starter bundles. So if you want to develop a web, then just use a starter icon web bundle, so it will take care of the dependency. So this also will save more time, right? Just you need to add that will download all the required bundles. So these are the major key differences between Spring and Spring Boot. Let's see how this is how we can compare it uh, with the earlier portion, right? There are stages. In initial stage, I'd say in a traditional or classic way of coding, we used to have JSP servlet based to process this request response pattern, right? And then we need to have a lot of configuration need to be written in the web.xml. The web.xml is required for this. Um, and also we need to define all the dependency and all the required jars to dependency. And in Spring Boot, it is a little more advanced, like it is take care all the configuration in a different way, and also it manages its own bean. Here it's a servlet container. When we talk about JSP servlet, uh, that is also like a monolithic. It's all in monolithic architecture. When we decide to design a web application, we used to design using monolithic. Everything is tightly coupled, and so it will not be like model based. And so in Spring, it that depends it broken, and it will be like an independent. You can create a models independently, and it loosely coupled. So this is pretty much about Spring and JSP comparison. So in JSP servlet based projects, we used to have this web.xml where we have all the servlet classes or configured in that, and based on that, the server container will create the instantiation of those servlets and maintains the life cycle of it, right? So similar way in Spring, we have this injection, dependency injection, the IOC controller. So the Spring container will take care of the instantiation of each bean, and so also it will maintain the scope of it. And we used to have a b.xml file, and also we have other options to have like Java based bean or annotation based bean, like likewise, right? So Spring Boot basically, right? It helps us to do the auto configuration when we do annotate at the rate Spring Boot application notation for our entry point, like and they are the main class defined. So internally, it is calling the at the rate auto at the rate enable auto configuration, component scan, and configuration annotations. Basically, this will help us to create the instance for various layers like controllers, uh, service, and repository. Those can be automatically scanned and it will maintain the instantiation for that. And also, it provides the embedded server and for the dependency are provided in the starter dependency. And so, with help of all this, we can create a application quickly, and also this is testable independently, and the Spring Boot is more powerful compared than Spring or other thing. So I hope this session has given you some better understanding on difference between Spring and Spring Boot. So, yeah, so I'll catch you in the next session. Until then, thanks. Bye. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel for more great content. I post new videos every frequent, so you don't want to miss out. Thank you.